So let's start with the ship's EEDI and SEAMS ship's energy efficiency management plan. What are the terms and what we really need to know about this topic? So let's see if you are a sailor. You know, for general idea, energy efficiency, saving the energy, we do save the fuel, save the keep the lights off, don't use the pumps and power packs and cranes unnecessarily, don't keep the chargers switches on. So general idea we all have using of solar energy for this all is for avoiding global warming, to have less SOx and NOx emissions and carbon dioxide emissions, so that ozone layer is not depleted and we don't get the sun's rays to the earth, harmful sun rays, and which are trapped into the earth's surface like a greenhouse effect, and they are not able to go out. So because of global warming, lot of sea levels are rising, and some places we have droughts, and lot of people from many places, lakhs of people from world have to be migrate for because of this global warming, and we have floods and droughts and so many abnormal weather and phenomena. So shipping may not be contributing a very large amount, but since it is an international trade, we have to consider the and whatever efforts from our side we can do for avoiding this and reducing the contribution to global warming. So one of the main thing is fuel consumption and the carbon dioxide, SOx and NOx emission in the fuel exhaust. So the more fuel we are consuming, the more of these gases will be emitted. So the best option is for this is economic speed, where we have the optimum fuel consumption and the best results. Let's see the other things. So also the new technologies which are coming up, like sailing ships or kite, we sailing with kites, and on there are so many other things we have for a minimum air friction on the container ships. Uh, we are loading in such a way so that we have less stacks on front and more forward. So it is like a aerodynamic loading, so that we have less resistance and better fuel efficiency. May not be followed often, but these are some options. So practically, we can avoid having avoid using unnecessary power packs or no ice on the AC or air accommodation air condition system, so that we have a good heat exchange. Then there's also a system for common rail fuel injection system. We don't have separate fuel injectors for each unit. We have a common fuel injector for common line, common rail for injecting fuel into the engine, which is injecting the fuel electronically with a precise fuel control, and there is very less frictional losses with that. Then we should not have unnecessary ballast on the ship, which will create more consumption, more require more force. Also, recently we have this IMO sulfur cap for 2020 0.1%. If we have to use ULSFO or VLSFO, and otherwise we can install scrubbers on the ships. So let's see. So the first legally binding climate change treaty to be adopted since the Kyoto Protocol was this, and which brought the SEAM, Ship's Energy Efficiency Management Plan. And because of this, we need to have EEDI, Energy Efficiency Design Index, how much the ship is energy consuming the energy basis of all the consumptions of fuel, and it is calculated as carbon dioxide emission emitted per ton per voyage, per ton of cargo for for the full voyage. So by calculating with the help of the fuel consumption and all the energy consumption, we are calculating the carbon dioxide in grams emitted per ton of cargo per voyage, and that is our energy efficiency design index. So there is a maximum or optimum energy efficiency design index given by this IMO for different kinds of ship, bulk carrier, chemical tankers, and all. And based on that, if the ship is capable of controlling that much and using below that energy efficiency design index, so ship will be given a certificate which will be EEOI, energy efficiency certificate, that we will see. So so breakthrough was done at MEPC's meeting 62, and the legal binding agreement to reduce the carbon dioxide emissions from international shipping was agreed by implementing this same ship energy efficiency management plan and EADI and EEOI. So there's a new chapter 4 on energy efficiency to MARPOL Annex 6 regulations on the prevention of air pollution from ships, and MEPC 62 was held from 11 to 15 July, and which introduced this. So energy efficiency operational indicator is obligatory for all ships above 400 GRT and above. This is a new amendment rule of MARPOL which brings this mandatory SIMP and EEDI, EEOI. So design index is given by IMO, that is should be, and EEOI operational indicator is how much the ship is actually consuming the energy. So it is compulsory for all the existing ships, and EEDI provides a specific figure for an individual ship, as we discussed. Ship's design expressed in grams of carbon dioxide per ship's capacity per mile. So ship's cargo capacity per ton per mile for the voyage is calculated in grams of carbon dioxide. The smaller the EEDI, the more energy efficient the ship's design. So if the ship's EEDI, energy efficiency design index, is smaller, it has a better design, or it's a good design of the ship, and is calculated by a formula based on the technical design parameters for a given ship. The carbon dioxide reduction level, that is the grams of carbon dioxide per ton mile. So grams of carbon dioxide per ton per mile for the first phase is set to 10%. So for the first phase, for the first 10 years, we will, IMO has aimed to reduce 10% of carbon dioxide emissions. It is in three-phase methods, and slowly it will reduce more, and will be tightened every 5 years to keep pace with the technological developments of new efficiency and reduction measures. So every 5 years, new limits of carbon dioxide will and new technology will be introduced, so that better target of reduction of carbon dioxide emission is achieved by IMO. So let's start with SEAM. What is this SEAM? So all ships of 400 GMT or more must have SEAM, Ships Energy Efficiency Management Plan. So there should be a manual for managing the energy efficiency of the ship, and divided into two parts, and further divided into 4 stages. So this plan is all about energy efficiency, and what are the things the ship can do will be given, and to lock down what are the things ship is actually doing. So first part, 4 stages. First stage is planning. We have to plan that, okay, this year we will reduce and try to achieve this much energy efficiency. We can achieve this much energy efficiency. So this year we will try to approve this much energy efficiency, next year this much. So this is our plan. Then implementation, we have to implement the plan. Then at the end of the year, we will evaluate that were we able to achieve this much plan or not. And regularly we will keep monitoring throughout the year that are we moving further and we are not reducing or degrading in the progress. So planning, implementation, evaluation, and monitoring. So in planning, before implementation of anywhere, there has to be planning of how the process should be implemented. Planning is the most critical step for implementation of SIEM. It is essentially defining the current status of the energy used by the ship and how the current energy consumption can be reduced further. So current status of your energy efficiency and how you can reduce it further will be given. Once you have planned for SIEM is in place, the next important step is to identify different ways of implementing the measures. First, we have to identify the measures of saving energy and the methods of implementing or how we are able to implement on the ship or not. Then we do the monitoring. Once the SIEM is implemented, the monitoring of the plan will come into action that we are implementing properly or not and if it is effective or not. There are predetermined approved methods of international standards available to monitor the performance of SIEMs such as EOI as per the guidelines developed by IMO MEPC Circular 684. So we have to monitor that we are following the IMO MEPC guidelines or not. And then we have to do the evaluation that we have implemented as per that and we have achieved what we had planned. So the result of monitoring stages need to be evaluated to understand the effectiveness of the SIEM, which will be done at the last stage. The stage highly depends on the constructive feedback, which can be assessed to improvise the plan if needed. And if we are following correctly or do we need any improvement or not. The same is used to enhance the planning, implementation and monitoring stages. So part one covers a lot of features, giving the recommendation on how the fuel can be saved that we discussed in starting, like economic speed. So this is like hull. If there is marine growth on the hull, then lot of fuel loss will be there, energy loss will be there. So hull monitoring and maintenance and corrosion free and anti-fouling paints and monitoring and underwater surveys is very important. Then maintenance of the propulsion system. If propulsion system is not working properly, it's not efficient, then of course more fuel will be used. So these are the measures which are given in SEAM. And waste heat recovery methods. So if we are wasting the heat of boiler or this thing, how we can use them in the evaporation tank for taking out the bilges or in the exhaust or so many nowadays we have the systems for circulating the exhaust gas into this uh, engine room for evaporators and all. Then optimize ship and cargo handling. So whenever the even break time, we have lunch break or shift change, we have to keep the generators or idle running low load generators off. Then energy management to keep the lights off when or any other power machineries off when they are not in use. Then records and feedback to the company. So we have to record everything, whatever we are taking measures, and what all other things can be done, and if it is within the design index or not. We have to report to the company. Company will report to Flight State or IMO. And the weather routing. So if we can avoid the bad weather and go to the safest route, then also we can save a lot of fuel and prevent from accidents also. So all the parameters given by IMO and the flag state SIM we have to maintain. So like sometimes on some VLCC or some ship they are asking for slow steaming. So actually speaking, slow steaming is not beneficial because more fuel is consumption consumed in total, and also there is a lot of load on the engine also can go into near to critical RPM, even that can cause damage. But to avoid the heavy traffic in the port, sometimes they are doing slow steaming. So all the factors have to be considered environmental wise. So if you have a good trim or the ballast is minimum, so that time then we will have less fuel consumption. That is one of the good point. Then let's see the part two of SIM is about reporting of the fuel consumption to the flag state. All ships of 5,000 uh, gross tonnage and above to maintain the part two of the SIM. That is, they have to report all the consumption of fuel and all the energy efficiency which required in the manual to the IMO. So accurate fuel consumption figures daily have to be go like you have a noon report. It will go to the IMO also now. So we have to also see that EEDI is followed, that our energy efficiency is within the approved limit, or the EEDI is the design index, what is the limit, and the formula for calculating that is given in your manual, and the elements which will influence energy efficiency of the ship. And this is done as per the design during the making of the ship only, and the energy efficiency design index of the ship as per the IMO circular, MEPC circular will be given for your ship. And the EOI, Energy Efficiency Operation Indicator, is a voluntarily IMO measure to enable operators to measure the fuel efficiency of the individual ships. So this is the phase-wise aim of IMO to reduce the carbon emission. Phase 0 was till 2015 to just to try out what all things we can do. Then phase 1, 2015 to 20, which we are going, we just finished. 10% of the approximate CO2 emissions are already reduced, but it's not 100% accurate measurement because IMO didn't have every ship's data. So now they have introduced this to get the accurate data. So phase 2 till 2025, the aim is to reduce the emissions to 20%, and then till next we will reduce up to 30% after 2025. So this is the reduction factor in the percentage reduction in required EEDI related to reference line. For bulk carriers of 10,000 deadweight, and for gas carriers 2,000 deadweight, for tankers 4,000 deadweight, and for container ships 10,000 deadweight, and general ships. So this is the deadweight capacity. And for phase, now we are in phase 2. So you can see here the EEDI, carbon dioxide per gram per ton mile, nautical mile is given in the scale, and that you can check from the scale what is the EEDI of your ship. Here will be the capacity deadweight. Suppose this is 40,000 deadweight. So I go here and I see the EEDI of my ship. Suppose it is 4.1. So I can emit only 4.1 gram of CO2 per ton per mile of my voyage. So this is the formula for or which we can calculate on the ship the fuel consumption and the carbon emitted, amount of cargo was carried upon the what you call ship speed, and metric tons of cargo.